Good evening, everybody. This is the Community Consolidated School District 46 Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. We're currently at Frederick School. So I need a call to order and a roll call, please.
Weedman.
Here.
Mack.
Here.
Braden.
Here.
Albert.
Here.
LaCroix.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Okay, so that gives us a quorum. We can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is I need a motion to approve the agenda would like it to include the personnel addendum as well.
So moved. I'll second.
Miller.
Aye.
Mack.
Aye.
Albert.
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Braden.
Aye.
And LaCroix.
Aye.
Okay, next we are up to public comments. Did we have anybody signed up? No? Okay. Next will be the presentation for the amended fiscal year 2021-22 school year budget.
Thank you. This is the amended budget presentation for fiscal year 2022. Here's our mission statement: empowering learners, creating equity, and cultivating community. The strategic finance goal underpins all the budget conversations that happen within the district, and we also follow our board policy too, with a future eye on fund balance and staying sustainable within a financial position. Here is the timetable of the process. As you notice, there's no difference in the process of approving an original budget and amending it within the school year, so that you might notice that this looks very familiar. Our amended budget will be publicly available from May 4th through June 1st for public inspection. We'll have the hearing on June 15th, and after it's approved, it will be filed with the State, County, and Regional Office of Education before the end of the fiscal year. So why are we amending the budget? Because we've had revisions that were not foreseen or could not be quantified at the time of the original budget approval. The first one is the sale of the working cash bonds and their transfer to capital projects. That was what was approved last month in the abatement resolution. The second is the transfer to support the payment of our general obligation debt certificates for our solar initiatives. The district receives solar renewable energy credits, what we call SRECs, and these are received in the operations and maintenance fund, but we have to transfer these proceeds to the debt service fund to pay our general obligation debt certificates. We've also received additional state and federal revenues, specifically in our state reimbursement for both special and regular transportation, as well as the additional IDEA flow-through. Again, these were unforeseen at the time of the original budget, specifically the IDEA extra funding, which was part of federal stimulus. Next steps, as already discussed, the public display of the budget and filing the budget form with the authorities after the hearing. Do I have any questions about the budget as presented?
It's not so much about the amendments that you're talking about, but just in general, what level, what threshold do you apply before you'll take the step of filing an amended budget? What is there a limit? I think there is, right?
Yeah, there is. It's a percentage based on the actual function of the agenda line. So 9 million definitely qualifies just on itself. So when I was looking to actually amend the budget, these were all qualifying events that I wanted to make sure were in the budget for when the auditors come and look at this, that they have everything in its right place. Any more questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you. So we'll move forward to public display, advertising, and we'll have the hearing on June 5th. Thank you.
Okay, next presentation is the 2022-23 insurance renewal.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Loney. I've been working with the school district for many years with the employee benefits that are offered. And when we finished last year at this point in time and we made our decisions for July 1st of 2021, we immediately started the process because we wanted to do a thorough review of what all the benefits were that were offered and to go through what are our options and are we doing what's in the best interest of the employees and the school district here. So we started looking at our current plans, advised Blue Cross that we would need an early renewal because we were doing this and we wanted to look at competitive quotes. We looked at, through Blue Cross, at all plans blended self-funded because that is the product that Aetna brought forward, was a self-funded product. Without the HMO, it was really called a point of service plan. And then we went to all of the other name brand carriers. Cigna was unwilling to provide a quote so early. Humana declined to quote. United Healthcare actually provided us a quote but said it would be contingent and wouldn't give us final numbers until we got to this point. And so it was not competitive when what they had received, so that was not an option. We narrowed it down to Aetna and we did do a review of that. We found that the pricing was competitive, but there was this potential for increased financial exposure. So with that, we felt that that was not the best option as well, and there were some variations to both the plan design, the networks, which could cause disruption for the employees in their selection of physicians. We looked at cooperatives. I manage a cooperative called Co-op 90s, which is a true pool, and then I know the district was also looking at EBC and NIHIP. So we came back to the Blue Cross renewal. The renewal was received and negotiated, and it was a 7.8% increase for the HMO Illinois plan. That would have no benefit plan provision changes. But one of the things we continue to hear from the staff is we need affordable insurance. So one of the options that we looked at was the Blue Advantage HMO, which we are going to move forward with. The majority of the actual providers that are currently in HMO Illinois are in the Blue Advantage HMO. So we know that it's going to be an education process with the employees to make sure that they're looking up their providers and making sure that they're seeing that their providers are in the Blue Advantage HMO. And with that, in very small print, you can see that the Blue Advantage HMO premiums are very similar to what our current HMO Illinois premiums are this year. So this will be an added advantage for those that look there. I always look at what's the impact to the employees. And when I discuss this with Chris, the way I look at it is who are they currently seeing and who is in Blue Advantage. And when I look at the number of people that will be impacted, 97.4% of the single coverage have their providers in Blue Advantage HMO. 95% of those families that are covered under the plan have their primary care physician in Blue Advantage HMO. So part of our efforts through open enrollment will be making sure that people take the time to check to see if their providers are in network, because this would be a cost-effective approach for them and being able to lower those dollars out of pocket. The plan design for Blue Advantage would remain the same as the HMO Illinois plan design. The PPO, as you know, every year we go through and we do the trend calculator and the projected claims. What are our expenses that we expect from July 1 of 22 to 23? And based on that, we would require a 6.4% increase to the blended PPO and the high deductible health plan, and there would be no benefit plan changes. Then we started looking at the dental review. Currently we have an indemnity plan. You can go to any dentist. That's what the self-funded plan is. And then we also offer the fully insured HMO. And that we received no increase from Sun Life, but we felt it was important to look at what are our options in this. And so we did get receive a renewal quote from Blue Cross Blue Shield. What we found is that the premiums were slightly higher, but the benefits were lower. And there were some could be disruption as far as who do you seek treatment from with your dentist. So we decided to table it because of the competitive nature of our current renewal with Delta, so that we can spend more time looking at this further. Delta Dental was the same way. It came in that there were enough variances that we wanted to discuss further, so we will be looking at that next year as well. So our DHMO remains with Sun Life, no change in plan designer premiums. And PBA, indemnity plan, one of the other concerns that was brought to our attention is we didn't have orthodontia on the self-funded plan. When we first went self-funded, we said, we're going to hold the premiums where they are. We're going to see how it actually performs. If it performs well, perhaps we can offer orthodontia. And this year, I can gladly say we are going to offer $1,000 orthodontia, which will allow us to determine the utilization for dependent orthodontia, to determine whether we can raise that amount. We didn't want to start at a higher level. We will not be changing the premiums. We've been performing well, and so we would not need to increase the premiums, but can increase the benefit. We received our renewal from Reliance Standard for their group life and disability policy. This one was no change as well. In conversations, we've been talking about moving to online enrollment systems, which would allow the employees to go online, compare their plans, and enroll. Many of you may have it in your own areas. With that, there is a partnership between Reliance Standard and Employee Navigator, the online enrollment system. So they have offered to, if we offer voluntary benefits, and we're looking forward to July of 2023, we'd actually build it at the beginning of 2023, but they're willing to provide dollars towards that online enrollment system. So open enrollment is coming. We had discussed whether we were going to be in the schools again, doing those early morning or end of school day sessions. And the feedback that was received was people liked the Zoom meetings because they had a recording, they could listen to it at their leisure, or they could share it with a spouse. And so this year, again, we are going to do 2 of the Zoom meetings and then have them recorded and available for people. We're going to spend time working on those HMO options. Like I said, we want to educate the people so they do take a time to look in and make sure their providers are in that Blue Advantage HMO. And then we'll review the dental options and have some conversations about dentists. Our Blue Cross resources, previously it was called Naturally Slim, and it is not a typo. They changed their name to Wonder and left the E out of it. That's the program, and we just need to continue to have the initiative. I know oftentimes it's asked, what are the wellness programs? What are we doing? Is there a response? I think we're coming out of COVID and some of the reluctance to participate in things, but then also we want to make sure that the programs are available. Through the Insurance Advisory Committee, we did have a review of how many people go on to Well on Target. That's the program that's embedded within Blue Cross with different challenges and coaching and opportunities to be engaged. And we have limited participation in those programs, but we do want to continue to encourage people to participate because we know for those wellness dollars that are spent, it's a return on investment. Learn to Live is a new program, behavioral health program that was offered by Blue Cross Blue Shield as of January 1 of 2022, which is embedded within our program for all the employees. And then we always have the employee assistance program through Perspectives that is also offered here at the school. So right now, we're scheduling our wellness initiative, which will be the screenings in the fall again. We're just determining which sites and dates so we can get those contracts in place. Those dollars for that program are included in our PPO premium projections. That's always been one of those line items. Any questions?
I got a couple of questions for you. So you gave us the price, or you mentioned the lower cost HMO plan, the Blue Advantage.
Yes.
Is the HMO Illinois an option that is no longer on the table for the
No,
employees?
it will still be on the table. We're just going to encourage and educate.
So for those 4 to 5% that may
Correct.
need to stay, and the other one they can stay.
The one
Okay.
facility that's not included in Blue Advantage is Northwestern.
Right.
And so we do have a couple families and a couple singles that do use Northwestern. That's the only one that is disruption. So we'll continue to offer it.
Yeah, we used to have that one at work too, so that was a bone of contention for our guys as well. Second thing I have for you is for the other providers that failed to give a quote or declined to give a quote, did they give reasons? Is it just because of the timing of the year or the uncertainty in the market?
I believe it was the timing, asking for things. Even with Aetna, we have a relationship with Blue Cross, and Blue Cross will provide me the renewal as early as the end of January, usually, for a July 1 effective date. Even with Aetna, they said, in future years, you will not get the renewal before April. And for us as a school district, I said, but we want to get out to the employees so that we can give them their information in May. So pretend that our renewal is really May 1st, so that we don't have to just be blocked into that 90 days before renewal concept. And that is a struggle for many of the carriers. I don't understand it because you can build in trend for a future time frame, but that was their stance.
Okay, and so the start date is, the effective start date, which now I've heard you say it, and now I read it, is July 1st for all the policies. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All of our changes happen July 1st, and that's why we want to get out to the employees in May so they can complete their open enrollment and be ready for the July 1st while they're still here at school, rather than trying to get their answers in June when they're home.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on that?
Mr. Weedman, I do have a question, if I can jump in.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for this presentation, Catherine. We appreciate it. And I'm curious about the wellness programs. I'm thinking about tracking the efficacy of them and kind of the return on investment for us. And just I'm curious about the limited participation. Can you speak more to that? And in particular, are there strategies that have been successful in other places for these engagement or for these wellness programs, please?
I think that some of this, when we talk about the actual programs that are within the Blue Cross embedded product, that's a matter of getting out the information and making sure they know how to log in to Blue Access for members, making sure they know what their resources are. And so we spent time last year trying to encourage. I came for when we did the wellness screenings. And one of the things that Jackie and I were recommending for everyone is that we had the flyers. When you get your results, you can go in to Blue Access for members and just list out what your results, because that creates points. Points then accumulate for dollars that you can be using for different exercise equipment, different rewards. That's all embedded within the Blue Cross Blue Access for members. So we were encouraging people. When we looked at the actual well on target and we looked at the reports of how many people are actually doing what we were suggesting they do, we didn't have that response. So that's where the engagement needs to happen, but we can bring the horse to water, but we can't make them drink. You've all heard the phrase. That's what we're trying to do, is bring the tools and the resources forward, but as far as making them do that, we have groups that set aside that give employees a deductible credit. We do see more engagement with that. I call it an intangible. So if you participate in the screening, you would get a deductible credit of, say, $100. It just is for PPO people, and being you have an even share of HMO and PPO participants, there's really not a benefit other than knowing you're well under the HMO, which is a good thing, so we want you to participate, but it's not that oomph to get in and have them do it. I have another group that gives everybody a $25 gift card when they show up for the wellness screening. That seems to boost people coming for the wellness screening. I don't know what they use the $25 for. I don't ask. We would like to think that it's something for healthy living or healthy, but I don't know. But it does increase participation. What I like to see, and one of the programs that we did accept and we were planning on boosting this past year, but we know we have COVID and we're just getting back onto being here in person, which is exciting. So with that, OMADA is a program that I finally have a tangible white paper. So OMADA is one that we want to continue to encourage, and we will be encouraging now during open enrollment. It's something we had anticipated starting, but we know that everything has a little slower start. Does that answer your question, Christy?
It does, and I'm curious about the white paper. Is that something we could take a look at, or is that ready to share, or no?
I know it's in an informal stage. I got it from a wellness provider, and so I will look at it. I'll just ask for their permission to go ahead and forward it out as well, and I'll get it over to Chris.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
If not, I look forward to working with you another school year.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is board reports. Does anybody have anything to report out? Go ahead, Jessica.
So I was able to attend a Foundation 46 meeting last week and serve as the board liaison for that group. And just wanted to share a few things. The school and PTO Facebook and social media shares are very helpful to get awareness in our community about Foundation 46 and what it does for our community. They are about to do a Market Day fundraiser, so we might see flyers about that and information about that. They are working on a couple other fundraisers. They will be presenting at a May board meeting. I'm not sure if, I don't remember the date. I don't think they set a date in the meeting, and I didn't think to ask which May meeting. And then I also wanted to note that through the foundation, students can apply for grants for Science Olympiad. We happen to see some Science Olympiad students practicing for state. And so that was kind of exciting to, I don't know if any of them applied for the foundation grant, but I thought it was nice to make that connection. And I know in the fall or winter, we had talked about fees and how to help students out. So just wanted to point that out. We can maybe mention that next fall. And then moving on, we had a community engagement committee meeting yesterday, and they evaluated the school night out programming and local restaurant scheduling. Wanted to thank Kaylee Lemke and Mark Tiplin for creating a process document and charting what all the schools have raised during the school nights out this year so far. And also in the meeting, they shared resources and ideas across the PTOs for end-of-year activities and events at the respective schools. And there was a lot of good, what we call a wisdom exchange. And lastly, I did attend an IASB webinar about a statewide group called the Student Advisory Council. And they were mostly high school juniors and seniors from across Illinois who applied or were recommended by principals. And it reminded me of something we've talked about before, which is the importance of having that student voice and having students feel comfortable and having a relationship with the board. So just wanted to bring that up again. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to report out?
I do, Jim. Is this a good time?
Sure.
I can't see everyone else, so okay.
I saw you raise your hand.
Okay. Alrighty, so just wanted, speaking of student voice, the Student Environmental Council, they are representing our district and District 127 at the Green Lake County Forum on Monday, April 18th at 6:30. This is a sustainability forum, and there'll be representatives from CLC and other schools who are pursuing things like solar panels and other sustainability initiatives. So our students will be there, and they'll be sharing the project that they're working on. For anyone who is listening that might not be familiar, this is a project in which These 10 to 12 students are collecting benchmark data for building performance in 5 categories: energy, waste, water, transportation, and the human experience. And GMS is one of those buildings. The Grace Lake Library is another, and both D127 high schools are also being benchmarked. So wanted to call your attention to that. Again, it's the Green Lake County Forum, Monday, April 18th at 6:30, and that's at the Byron Colby Barn in Prairie Crossing. The second thing I wanted to share is a shout out to Jessica Albert, who will be facilitating the University of Minnesota's watershed game. This is a simulation in which local leaders come together to learn about the watershed and to build fundamental knowledge about remedies for things like flooding. It's also directly related to our strategic goals in terms of cultivating community with other local officials. So if any board members are interested in that training is at the Lake County Forest Preserve's Hastings Lake, and it's Shelter A, Monday, April 18th, also at 6:30. So and I think that does it. Jess, did I get that date right, actually, or is it the 18th?
It's actually April 22nd on Friday.
Thank you. That didn't look right, so I stand corrected. So it's April 22nd. Thanks, Jess. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're up to superintendent's report. That would be Dr. Lewis.
So thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Wildman and I have a few things to share in Dr. Glickman's absence. She was called away from the district just a little while ago, so we're stepping in to help with this. And I'm going first, and I'm very excited because I get to share like unbelievable, crazy, wonderful news about the district. So that always is a good thing to share. So some of these things were addressed that you knew were coming, but we're saying some things officially. So our District 46 wrestling team, which made up of students from GMS, Frederick, and Park schools, had an undefeated regular season with the first place finishes in the conference, in regional and sectional wrestling meets by the end of the season. And they had a school record of 13 athletes qualify for the IESA State Wrestling Finals in DeKalb. And ultimately, they earned a 6th place team finish at the state meet, with one wrestler earning a 6th place state finish, as well as 2 state champions. So this is amazing, crazy good. And it continues. So the GMS choir earned a perfect score at their state qualifying event and will perform at the state competition on Saturday, April 23rd. So we certainly wish the GMS choir success. And as our colleague shared, the GMS Science Olympiad earned a 3rd place regional trophy, which qualified their team for the state competition again on Saturday, April 23rd. So go our students, this is pretty amazing. And then the GMS Wind Ensemble earned a superior at the state qualifying event and will perform at the state competition on Saturday, April 23rd. So we're shooting for an amazing day on April 23rd. But that continues. The GMS Wind Ensemble was accepted to the 2022 Illinois Superstate Concert Band Festival. Each year, hundreds of middle school and high school bands submit application recordings to the University of Illinois. These recordings are distributed to college professors around the country, who then evaluate them and choose only the finest bands to invite to this festival. This year, only 8 middle school bands were chosen, and that one of them is GMS. So the GMS Wind Ensemble will travel to the University of Illinois on Friday, May 6th, and perform at the Cranert Center for the Performing Arts for a panel of renowned collegiate professors from around the country. This is the 4th time that GMS has been accepted to this festival, and each time the honor is overwhelming. These are Mr. Thomas's words. But this year feels even more special considering where the students were when we started the school year, given the challenges that band had had through the pandemic. So I am just so delighted to be able to share all this amazing news that our fine arts and all of our sports, all of the students are participating and doing some amazing things when we know the last year or two have not been normal experiences for them. So I actually saw the band teachers today, this morning, that seems like a long time already, this morning at Job Alike, and they were just excited and really thrilled about all of their performance that have been going on. I know this has been mentioned here at the meeting, but we wanted to make sure that we celebrated our students and all of the adults that are helping with those things. Again, pretty amazing. And I'm turning this over now to Mr. Wildman to continue.
I also have good news. The state budget is passed, and the Illinois General Assembly is allocating an additional $350 million for evidence-based funding. That's $300 million which will flow into the formula via tier money, with $50 million being allocated for another round of the property tax relief grants. It also includes early childhood education budget, an increase of $54 million, and a $96 million increase for mandated categoricals. And we know what they are. They're those things which we have on the side of our EBF that we have to put in for reimbursement. One surprise is included in the budget this year is the $87.5 million in additional EBF payments, and this is a direct quote from ISB, so I'm going to use it, for adjustments owed from past evidence-based funding cycles to school districts as the result of an error with one school district's enrollment calculation. Can we guess which enrollment calculation, which district it was? No, it was a CPS. It was a good guess, though. So this week we received news that our allocation will be increased as a one-time increase of $463,600, which will be received before the end of the year. The district intends to use this additional windfall towards the new Chromebook purchase of $403,188, which is on the agenda later for your consideration.
Does anybody have any questions for the two of them? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to the consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. A reminder that that also includes the personnel addendum we got earlier today.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions? Okay.
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroix,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. All right, next we are up to action items. The first action item is a motion to approve the publication for the legal notice of the amended 2021 budget, which we discussed about earlier tonight. I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay.
Weedman,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroix,
Aye.
Albert.
Aye.
All right. Next is a motion, I need a motion to approve the 2022-23 insurance renewal rates for employee benefits, as we discussed earlier tonight as well.
So moved.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions on that? I think it was pretty self-explanatory. Okay.
LaCroix,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. And final action item for tonight is a motion to approve the Chromebook refresh.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Does anybody have any questions on the Chromebook refresh? Okay.
Albert,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroix,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. And we're up to unfinished business. You have nothing? I know we talked about, you had the student council come in, or
Yeah, the Student Environmental Council. on May 18th, would like to present their findings. It's what Christy talked about earlier.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that was put onto that, even though I know we talked about it with Dr. Glickman. Okay, new business. First one is the board meeting calendar. This is, if I can bring it up, the proposed calendar for our meeting dates. Although I see it has here Grays Lake Middle School. Are we changing locations? Yes, so we're going back to middle school, starting July 13th. Okay. So for us, that is the proposed dates for the following year. If there's anything that looks like it might conflict with, the majority of the board, I would suggest you, like if you have a conflict, maybe let Sue know or let Lynn know, and then we can see if that's a date that we may need to change. But we usually do pretty good. I don't think we've canceled, as far as I know, I don't think we've canceled any of the meetings, so that's the proposed calendar, so take a look at it, and if you have any questions or any concerns about a certain date that doesn't make sense or falls in some solid holiday we missed, then let us know. And then, final discussion item for tonight is the purchase of district-wide communication radios.
Good evening. Just a little background on it. Each school building in our district, they have their own individual building level two-way radios. Collectively, they all need replacement. They were all purchased around the same time, between 10 to 15 years ago. When Mr. Vipon and myself entered into the district, that was one of the things that was brought to our attention on technology and maintenance side of it, that they are starting to die out. They will not charge anymore. They can't hear each other, the safety aspect of it down the line, and they're all looking to have them replaced. We have gone out and we've talked to a couple contractors. One of them happens to be one that we've used in the district over the past 10 to 15 years, Chicago Communications. They came in and they did an audit throughout our district of our technology, the ability to be able to use two-way radios across from Avon all the way over to Park Campus. And on the security aspect of it, we will be able to do it within the next 2 to 3 years upon approval by putting in multiple repeaters. And we have a total of 108 radios right now in the district. We are looking to up that to approximately 180 radios that will go for lunchroom staff to people on every level of a school for safety and security, from nurses to subs that might come in. With these radios will be utilized in the way that we can talk to each team, whether it's technology, operations and maintenance, administration, an all call through the district, or a one-on-one between people. If we go on field trips, we will be able to take them with us and use them on the field trips between teachers. They can be used locally, wherever they're at in the building, but if they are within our district, in our network, they would be able to go ahead and talk across district. There is a function within it also. It's a one-call function that will dial 911 in the case of an emergency also.
So it says here part of it will be done this fiscal year. What part's going to be looking to do this year?
So we are looking to do the radios this year. So we will get the radios in-house, get everything ready to go, and over the next 2 years, we will bring in the repeaters and everything to tie it all together, all into one, so that we don't burden ourselves with a $300,000 upfront cost all at once.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions on the radios?
Are you
I just-
foregoing any, I'm sorry, go ahead, Christy.
No, go ahead, Jason. Sorry, I just can't see you.
Okay, we can't see you either, but is there any functionality that you're foregoing by waiting to stagger the purchases?
There is not. There is not. We are actually locking up everything right now, but not doing the purchase for another fiscal year.
Christy?
Okay, thanks, Jason. Just a point of clarification, and is this something that was already embedded in the budget, or are we able to do this because of the additional funding that the state has given us? Can you just clarify how we're covering the cost of it, please?
This was planned into our budget.
Great, thank you.
Does the budgeted cost also include training from the company for the new technology and functionality, or is that something that you're responsible for, or do they
It
provide?
does.
They
They will come in, they will train everybody.
do a whole new,
First day teachers, staff that comes in, when we have all sorts of training, they will come in and run everybody through it.
thank you.
Mr. Halpern, I know there's also a concern about working phones in classrooms, and I'm just curious if this at least helps mitigate that a little bit. I know it's probably not one radio per classroom, but.
So, excuse me, we are looking at the phone situation in addition to the radio communication. So the radio communication meeting one need, the phone concern meeting a separate need. I have been having conversations with phone vendors, including a meeting last week with our current phone vendor. So looking at those as kind of two separate projects, but obviously meeting the same goal of increasing communication across the district.
How did I know you would be on top of it?
We're trying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Topics for future agenda items.
So earlier I did the superintendent's report, and I had my long list of things to share, and I was excited to do, but I forgot one. So I'm hoping, because it has to do with future topics. One of the things that my department has been working on significantly is to meet the district strategic goal of looking at new literacy materials. So we are very close to a final decision about a K-8 for resources for K-8. So we have our final presentations, the last push by 2 companies at elementary and 2 companies at middle school. We're doing our due diligence to research and to gather information. Those are scheduled, one's tomorrow and the rest are next week. So we're going to have some final decisions coming soon. I'm beyond excited to see the new materials and to see what could be available for our students moving forward. So we're excited about, we just wanted to give you an update that we've been actively working on the literacy resources. And it's a big deal because it's such an important component of our instruction. So when I talk about, Lynn shared the list of the future meetings for May 4th. We have a number of presentations. One of them is a safety and security update. You may or may not know that we have a very active safety and security committee who've been meeting, and they want to give you an update of all the things that we've been doing regarding safety and security. Interestingly, some of the topics that you just heard, like the radios, are part of the safety and security update. We also have a big meeting coming up because we're ready to reveal the new district logo. And so that's going to happen as a presentation at the next meeting too. So get ready for that. And then we're hoping to have the first presentation about the literacy materials. So that's our plan, to have it for you for May 4th, to share the proposals for a new literacy, resources for K through 8. We also have some new business to consider the literacy resources then too. And then the GMS security cameras. So we heard about the radios, but we're also going to hear some information about security cameras having to do with the Safety and Security Committee. So they're all interrelated of the things we're working on. And then we'll be bringing the Arbor Renewal contracts for consideration. And then we're hoping to take some action on the radios. You just heard the information about the radios, but we would like to take action on that. And then a Frederick School roof replacement discussion as well. No, that's an action item, sorry. For the roof here at this building, a final decision. So we have a number of things that are coming. I also wrote down board meeting calendar. And Sue, was that expected for next meeting, hopefully? So again, Mr. Weedman said if you have any suggestions or concerns about the dates, if we can get those so that we can be prepared to make those final at the next meeting. That's all I have right now, but I'm glad to write down any other topics of consideration.
Okay, thank you. Just also a quick follow-up for the board. There was a save the date sent out for May 19th for the retirement event for the staff for District 46. And we are actually honoring the last 3 years' retirements because we weren't able to put on any type of events. So I believe all of them invited back for their recognition dinner. More to come for that, but it'll be held on May 19th. We are back up to public comments. Nope, nobody signed up. Okay, good. And we are going into closed sessions. So I need a motion to go into closed.
So moved.
Second.
LaCroix,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Braden.
Aye.
Okay, for those that are in attendance in the building, we are not going to be coming out to do any other public work or making any action, so you're welcome to stick around for the next 2 hours if you want and wait for us to come out and walk out, but there's no need for you to stick around. Thank you.